What's up, VC? Back again for another video. This video just have some more stuff that I've gotten recently in the past few months. These records in particular, I got from a record store, and then some I've gotten from another record store, and then another bit of them were from an antique store. And then I think like one or two of them were off eBay. But all right, yeah, let's jump right into it. First up, we have Beck Ola by Jeff Beck's group. This is their second record, released in 1969. Just really good, heavy blues rock. You know, Nicky Hopkins on piano. Rod Stewart, which is really cool. Honestly, I did not know Rod Stewart was the vocalist for the Jeff Beck group. But when I found that out, that was really cool. And Ron Wood on bass guitar. So really, really good lineup and just fantastic record. I think I do like their first record, Truth, more than this one, but this one's also phenomenal. I mean, All Shook Up, Spanish Boots, really good heavy blues rock, you know. I got this for $3 at a record store pretty close by to me. I definitely need to get an upgrade copy because this one does seem to have some groove wear on it. It doesn't sound that great, unfortunately, but I've been dying to get a copy of this on the cheap side, and I refuse to pay more than like $5 for one. So when I saw this in the budget bin, I just had to pick it up. So yeah, fantastic record. Check it out. The James Gang, Your Album, and I've been trying to get a copy of this for a while. This is their first record, released in 1969. Just more really good blues rock. It's a Capitol Records club pressing, if that means anything to you. Yeah, just really good. And this is a really clean copy. I got this for $1, which is a steal. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but one song that always stands out to me on this record would have to be Funk Number 48. That song is just so killer. I stream that very often, so yeah, fantastic. But we have The World is a Ghetto by War, and I just actually listened to this, and man, it was phenomenal. Yeah, 1972, super, super funky, just super funky, and honestly, there wasn't a bad song on this album. A few that stuck out to me, Cisco Kid, City Country City, and then Four Cornered Room, all just fantastic, funky songs. City Country City is like 13 minutes long, and it's just really, really good stuff, so definitely check this out. I got this for $3 as well. There is a skip, or there's a loop on the end of the first side, which is kind of a shame, but I mean, for $3, you know, maybe I can get the loop out, you know, try to pick it out, but yeah, good stuff. All right, next up we have Jimmy Reed, Found Love. I also just listened to this, released its original 1960 press on that old school VJ label. Yeah, I really couldn't figure much out about this online. This first pressing here hasn't really seemed to sell very much, and on Discogs, not many people have it in their collection. So, really didn't know much about it. It was in good condition, so I was like, yeah, why not? Check it out. And, yeah, just really solid, harmonica-driven blues. Very good. If you're into that sort of thing, definitely check this out. I don't really have any harmonica-driven blues, so, you know, it's very nice to have some in my collection. But at the same time, I just don't know how much I'm going to listen to this necessarily, so it might end up getting sold. Don't know yet, but still very cool pickup. Next up we have Paintings by the Mike Quattro Jam Band. This released in 1972. Just, it's pretty solid, like piano driven prog rock, I'd say. They do a cover of Court of the Crimson King, and from what I recall, there's no vocals on this album at all. One cool thing though is Ted Nugent's the guitarist on this record, which I actually did not know when I first listened to it. But when I was doing writing notes about the records for this video, I figured that out. I was like, that's pretty interesting. So yeah, but knew nothing about this record when I bought it. I mean, it was $3. I saw that cover and I saw the promo sticker, so I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot, you know. But this one doesn't go for too much anyway, but I was still like, yeah, give it a shot. It looks cool. So yeah, it didn't disappoint and cool to add to the collection. Next up we have Buffalo Springfield's self-titled debut from 1967. This is a second pressing with For What It's Worth included on the album. Got this for $1, which very happy about, and this is like the cleanest copy I've seen of it by far. Usually these things are trashed, and I have gone through, I think I've had like two or three copies before this one, but this might be the keeper. Honestly, like, even if I do get a first press, I don't think I'd hold on to it. I'd probably sell it because I like having For What It's Worth on the album. Like, just a great song, you know? I mean, they added it to the album for a reason, you know? But, yeah, aside from that, I'd probably say Nowadays Clancy Can't Even Sing is my favorite song on the album. And, yeah, just good folk rock, you know, poppy stuff, you know. Good stuff. Check it out. Next up, we got another one by Buffalo Springfield. It's their last record, last time around. This came out in 1968. Also got this for $1, and this is a very clean copy of it. Yeah, this is a Unipack sleeve, if I believe correctly. Just more good, same vein, you know, folk rock, you know, poppy stuff. This one's a little more country, I'd say. It's got a little more of a country rock vibe to it. If I recall correctly, there is some good guitar work on this one too. Kind Woman's really great. I believe that's how the album ends, which is just a fantastic song. And then Special Care, and that one's good track as well. But yeah, definitely check this out if you haven't already. Good album. Next up, we have Painter. They're self-titled from 1973. This was $1. I'd seen the cover before. I'd looked it up on Discogs, and I was like, it looks pretty good. Didn't pull the trigger on it when I did see it beforehand, but did this time because for $1, like, why not? Haven't had a chance to listen to this yet. Don't know how good it is. I mean, Discogs defines it as pop rock, hard rock, AOR, so I don't really know what that means. I suspect that it's just like hard rock of some sort, but if it's good, who knows? Don't know yet, but definitely will be giving it a listen for sure. Next up, we have Gentle Giant, Playing the Fool. This is a live album from 1977. I was blown away by this record, honestly. Like, beforehand, I don't know, I like Gentle Giant before I listened to this, but I just don't have any of their records, so, like, they weren't really, I didn't listen to them a lot, didn't really know much about them, but after listening to this, which includes some great tracks off, like, the records that came before this, all their classic stuff, I definitely get Gentle Giant now, for sure. Just name a few. There's so many. Like, the whole album's fantastic, but Just the Same, Freehand, excerpts from The Octopus, Funny Ways, The Runaway, Freehand. Just insanely good progressive rock. And honestly, like, I don't know if the studio recordings are going to top the live recordings on this album, because these live recordings that they did, like, they're so good. So, I don't know. Also got this for $1, so another great deal on it. Really good condition as well, so happy to get that as well. Next up, we have Sammy's self-titled record from 1973. Wasn't too blown away by this record, but there were some songs that stood out to me. It's also not the best copy as well. Got it for $3, so I was like, why not? Yeah, it's like heavy prog. I'd say mainly, but it's also got like some soft rock kind of stuff on it. And also it's a little funky at some points as well. Has a horn section, which is kind of interesting. Joanne and Lady Lover would be the two songs that stuck out to me. Yeah, but the lineup's kind of interesting. First we have Mick Underwood, who was actually the drummer for Quatermass, which is a fantastic heavy progressive rock band. I really want to get their self-titled record. Next up we have Keith Gemmell on saxophone, clarinet, and flute. He was in a band called Audience, which I just know them to be like an obscure progressive or psych band. I don't know, but I have heard the name before. Would love to get one of their records. And then we have Geoff Sharkey, and he's a lead guitarist, and he was from a band called Gin House, which is one I know of and is pretty cool from what I recall. So very interesting lineup, but also very hit or miss album as well, but it can be had for pretty cheap, so it's an interesting listen, I'd say. Next up we have Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes. This is their first record under this name. Came out in 1972. They first went by the name just the Blue Notes. When they were just known as the Blue Notes, they only released singles. They didn't ever release an album under that name. So this would be their first like full album. Just some good soul from what I've heard. Haven't listened to this one yet, but looking forward to it for sure. Next up we have Bar-Kays Black Rock, and oh man, this is fantastic. I am very happy to get a copy of this. I've been wanting to get this for a good bit. I mean, from what I've heard, I think basically all their stuff is really good, but this one in particular, man, it is fantastic. It's on Volt. Yeah, just a good blend of funk and soul, heavy rock, you know, just blistering guitar solos. Like, it's so good. And basically, I don't even know, it's hard to pick out like a one track in particular off this album, but the whole album is just so good. Definitely give it a listen if you don't know about it already. And what can I say? Like, it's so good. But yeah, this copy isn't the best. I mean, it's alright. It plays. What more could you ask for, I guess, but definitely will be looking for an upgrade copy of this. Next up, we have Motor Booty Affair by Parliament. Haven't listened to this one yet, just will say that off the top. You know, but suspect it to be just very good P-Funk. This is one I know in particular that people point to a lot in their discography. But yeah, very good. Pretty decent copy. Got this at the record store for a pretty good deal considering what the median is on Discogs. So yeah, looking forward to listening to that one. We also have another one by Parliament, Ori Hala Stupid, or Pin the Tail on the Funky. Just more good P-Funk, you know. It was around the same price as the other one. This one isn't really in the best of shape, but it still plays pretty well. Honestly, it's been a while since I've listened to it, so I don't remember too well. Color Me Funky, I'm pretty sure was pretty good. Good record. Next up, we have Aerosmith's self-titled debut from 1973, and this is an early first pressing of it. You can tell from the smaller picture of the band on the cover, you know. But yeah, got this for $5 at the antique store, and it's a pretty decent copy. Yeah, I mean, the sleeve's a little messed up, that's the only thing about it, but the disc is in pretty nice shape, plays very well, and there's not really much I have to say about this record. It's pretty well known. I mean, you know, Dream On is great, One Way Street, yeah, just good, like, heavy blues rock. It's good stuff. So, yeah, I mean, if you haven't heard this record, I don't know what you're doing, or this band. I don't really know what you're doing, but yeah, if you haven't, yeah, definitely check them out for sure. Next up, we have We Are One by Mandrill. This came out in 1977. Have not had a chance to listen to this one yet, but I believe this is the only Mandrill record I have in my collection so far, which is a shame. Definitely need to pick up more of their stuff, especially the early stuff, because this is a later album by them. Discogs defines this as funk and disco, so I guess they do a little disco on this record. I don't know. It was $1, so I was like, why not? It was in really good shape. But yeah. Looking forward to listening to that. Next up, we have Prince, self-titled debut record from 1979. And yeah, this is killer funk and soul, a little disco. But the main kicker for me on this album is just the amazing guitar. Like, the guitar solos are just amazing. Prince is like, he is such a good guitar player. Like, honestly, in my opinion, he might be top 5 guitarists all time. Like, he is just amazing. A lot of tracks on here, like Bambi, for instance, like, that song is heavy. Like, that is a heavy, hard rocking song. And the guitar solos are just blistering. Like, they're so good. But, yeah, this is an original pressing on that white Warner Brothers label. Just really good album. Happy to have this. I found another copy of this. I don't remember if I showed it in my flea market video, but yeah, I got that one for $3, but it's not an original. It's like a repress. So decided to hold on to this one with it being the original. So yeah, great record. Definitely check it out. Next up, we have Frigid Pink's 1970 debut record. This is a UK pressing. Original UK pressing on DeRam. Got this off eBay for a very good deal. And yeah, this album is just phenomenal. I think I may have talked about it already in a previous video. Just heavy blues rock. Very, very good. But yeah, this is UK pressing, which is pretty cool. Honestly, I don't know if I'm going to keep this one or the US copy, because the US copy does sound good, but this one is definitely in better condition. And when am I ever going to find another UK copy of this? So maybe I'll keep both. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it does have some sleeve scuffs which were not very visible in the pictures on eBay, which are a shame. But the seller did describe it as VG+, and it does play VG+. I will say that. But yeah, fantastic record. God Gave Me You is probably like the hit single of theirs, especially off this album. Drivin' Blues also, I think it was on the flip side of the House of Rising Sun single, and then also, yeah, House of Rising Sun. Such a great cover. Probably my favorite version of that song of all time. Just amazing guitar tone on that track. So, so good. But yeah, check it out if you haven't already. Next up, we have Blackbird by Donald Byrd. Thing about this record is, I believe it's this one. This is on this Blue Note label, which was like the label that they were transitioning to in 1973 when this record came out. But there are copies of this that come on like the original, like, classic Blue Note label. You know the one, right? I hope you do. I showed a couple records on that label off in my flea market video. So if you're curious to know what it looks like, definitely go check that video out. But yeah, this is just really good jazz funk. Haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but definitely looking forward to it. This is a solid VG copy, I'd say. But when I saw it, I know I had to get it because, you know, don't see these too often. So yeah. Next up, we have Street Lady by Donald Byrd, another Donald Byrd record. I think it's the same deal for this one. Like, this copy in particular is on that Blue Note label, but there are copies that did, because 1973 was the year, or 1972 was the year that they were transitioning from the other label to this label. But yeah, just more jazz funk, good stuff, classic jazz funk. So yeah. Next up, this is killer. Good Thunder from 1972. Just heavy, heavy, heavy progressive rock. It is phenomenal. I was honestly surprised by how good this was when I put it on. It's on Elektra. I believe it's on the Butterfly label of Elektra. I'll take it out of the sleeve here, why not? It does have a little bit of water damage, unfortunately, but it does come with the insert. It's a little messed up, but I thought that was cool. Got the insert there. Original Electra sleeve there. A little taped up, but that's okay. This copy does have a good bit of surface noise, which honestly doesn't look like it would, because visually it's like VG+, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, this is just phenomenal. Heavy progressive rock, and my favorite song is probably the last track on the album, Barking at the Ants. Just super heavy guitar and proggy. It's just so good. So definitely check this one out. I don't see this one get talked about a lot, and it's sort of kind of cheap. It's like $15-$20 range if I remember correctly. So yeah, definitely check this out. Next up, got a fantastic deal on this one. This is a Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble, Texas Flood, 1983. I believe this was the first studio album that they released. Just killer blues rock. I mean, Stevie Ray Vaughan, one of the greatest guitarists of all time, heavily influenced by Jimi Hendrix. So I mean, you know it's good. You know, some good guitar stuff on here. Yeah, don't really have any songs that stick out to me. Really, I mean, the whole album's fantastic, but in particular, nothing I can really name off the top of my head. Super good. Definitely check it out. All right, getting down. We got 3 left here. Here we have Here Comes the Night by Them. This is original 1965 mono pressing. And this is the, it's weird, it's a UK export record, which is very interesting. And I guess this one goes for a little bit more on Discogs. I don't know. I got this for $3 at a record store. And well, here's why it was $3. It is well, you can't see it, but yeah, it's torched. It's a very trashed copy. But to my surprise, when I like cleaned it up, did all that, put it on, I was pleasantly surprised by how phenomenal this sounded. I mean, I don't really know of anything that's on Parrot that doesn't sound just fantastic, so that explains a lot right there. But yeah, for how trash this is, like, it's amazing how good it sounds. And yeah, glad to have this in my collection. Basically anything by the band Them, like, I'm looking for. Like, I have one of their other records that I might show in another video. That's one of their later ones after Van Morrison left. But yeah, great record. Definitely check it out. All right, next up we have Squawk by Budgie, 1972. This is their final record on Cap Records there. Yeah, this is probably my least favorite record of theirs, at least from their 70s discography. Yeah, just nothing really stands out to me on this one. Just a lot of just generic blues rock. I mean, it's good stuff, but just not compared to their other material on their other records that is just so phenomenal. Budgie's like one of my favorite bands of all time. I love them so much, but this record completes my 70s collection for them, which is really cool. I got this off eBay in an auction. Just no one was bidding on it, so I swooped in and grabbed it for a pretty decent deal. Yeah, very clean copy too, I will add. But the one song that does stick out to me on this record would probably have to be Young as a World. That one's really good. That song in particular on this album, like, that's a great track. But aside from that, nothing really else stands out to me. But yeah, if you're not familiar with Budgie, please check them out. They are so good and did not get the credit that they deserved back in the 70s when they were in their prime. Like, they are criminally underrated, or they were criminally underrated. But yeah, would have been great to also see them live, but unfortunately Burke Shelley passed away, so no chance of that ever happening. They're a 3-piece power trio, sort of in the same vein as like Rush, I guess you could say, just not as definitely not as musically skilled as Rush, because not many bands are. But you know, they got the bassist on lead vocals, and then, you know, you got the guitarist and the drummer, you know. And honestly, the vocals, like Burke Shelley's voice, he he's got that higher pitched voice. It's very similar to Geddy Lee's from Rush, which I find interesting. So, yeah, very good stuff. Definitely check it out. All right, and last but not least, we have Road from 1972. And this is Noel Redding's band, the bassist from the Jimi Hendrix Experience, and it is quite good. A lot of the material on this record gives me kind of that Jimi Hendrix Experience vibe for sure. Good psychedelic hard rock, and let me tell you, it's just a good blend of both. You got some songs that are straight just psych, and then you got some songs that are just straight hard rock. Give you examples like Mushroom Man Dressed in Red. Like, I'd say those are like the psych tracks that stand out to me. And then the hard rock tracks would have to be Road, which gives me like Motorhead vibes with the vocals, like just that deeper, like rough voice, you know. It really gives me those vibes. And then we have Spaceship Earth, which is another heavy track. But yeah, insanely good record, and definitely one to look out for. This is an upgrade copy for me, actually. I actually swapped the sleeve with my old copy, because this one's in great shape, other than the fact that Tom wrote his name on it. So thanks, Tom. I appreciate that. But yeah, this is an insanely clean disc on this one, and I got this for $7 at the antique store. And the funny thing about it is, the booth that it was at, like, just everything else was insanely overpriced at that booth. But for some reason, this record in particular was only $7. Ironically, he knew what the record was, because, like, he had the information on the price tag. But, nope, $7, so that's cool. But, yeah, definitely happy to get an upgrade copy of this record. It's so good. Definitely check it out, and, yeah. But alright, VC, I guess that wraps it up for today. Hope the notes that I took and me looking down at that ever so often didn't bother anybody too much. It's just trying to remember all that information is kind of difficult at points. So I wanted to make sure I got it right and had stuff to talk about, all of them, for the most part. And I listened to most of these beforehand. There were a few I didn't listen to, so I was pretty good about it this time. In a perfect world, I would have listened to all of them, but sometimes you just don't have enough time to listen to all of them. Like, that was a good bit of records right there. But, yeah, more videos to come in the future. Still have a ton of stuff to show off. So, yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.